Yo, it's your boy, Kenny T, Kilo, Tango, Aviation. If you're having difficulty trying to learn aircraft systems, I'm going to give you some tips that's going to make it so that you are the master at understanding these systems. It don't matter whether you're working on these systems as a private pilot, commercial pilot, or an airline pilot, this way works. I've seen it, whether it's been me learning it myself, me teaching it to someone else, or just watching it in the training environment. This works. So first, make sure that you're focusing on one system at a time so you can really hone in and understand how this works. So the first thing you do is just read about the system. Go to the pubs, find out where in the operating manual the system is, and just read through it and take note. This will help you find the reference and location of where the system's written. Write down the limits so you know the limits of the system and how to operate the system. And by doing that, you'll retain, honestly, about 10% of it because you remember about 10% of everything that you read. The next thing you do is to watch videos, watch lectures about the system. And don't just watch one, watch multiple so you can get a lot of different perspectives on that particular system. And when different people explain it differently, it's going to help it stick that much more. And you remember and retain about 30% of things you see and hear. So 30 to 50% of everything you get, it'll start to stick. The next thing you're gonna do, number 3, is to explain it to somebody else. Whether you're working in a group of other people who are in class with you, or you're talking to your spouse, your boyfriend or girlfriend, or just one of your friends, just explain the system to them. Because in order to explain it, you gotta have a good understanding of it, and it'll really start finding the areas that you may not know about it and cause you to dig a little bit more to better understand it when you're explaining it. I've used this method many times, and it's one of the most helpful things that you can to master the system. And in this case, you retain about 70% of things that you say and write. So tell people about it, write it on the whiteboard, write it on paper, but explain it. It's gonna help it stick that much more. Number 4, get in a simulator and actually use the system. Or get an aircraft if it's possible and actually practice using the system. Because by using it, you're gonna actually get to see how it actually works compared to what you read, compared to what you wrote, compared to what you explained, and now see how it actually all comes together. And it makes it that much more because it's experiential. You're actually experiencing what the system does, what it's doing, what happens when you do a particular thing, what happens when you flip certain switches, and all of those things. And that's why it's key to go and actually simulate using the system. Practice it. And it's important because you actually retain about 90% of the things you do. Now the key here is you still got, even though you retain 90% of what you do, you got to start off with the foundational stuff of reading it, being able to regurgitate it, practicing it, all those things level by level in order to really master it. Because you can't just skip to the end and just start doing it because it just don't work like that. That's not how retention and learning works. Now, what I'm telling you is loosely based off of the pyramid of memory, which kind of states the different percentages of how you learn stuff. Now, there's some stuff on Google that kind of tries to debunk that it works. Now, I can't guarantee that the percentages are what they are, but what I can guarantee is that this method works. If you read it and write it, watch videos about it, teach it, talk about it to other people, and practice it in real life always works. It just does. I'm just telling you, you ain't got to believe me. Go try it. Let me know what you think if you believe this works. Or if you don't think it works, I want to know. Kenny T out.